Hey there! We are back again to continue breaking down the solutions to the monolith quest. In the first video, we talked briefly about the background of the monolith, and then we went through the first 3 challenges of quest 1. I personally recommend going back and starting there if you haven't already, because today we're going to hop right into it and cover challenges 4 through 6. So let's go. So challenges 4 through 6 are going to be similar to the first 3, where the end goal is finding a combination of numbers to get to an old Artifact Studios tweet. Doesn't necessarily have to be numbers, but essentially trying to find an old URL for a tweet from Artifact. So for challenge number 4, this was the clue that was sent out. Find me, love me. And there really was not much else going on here. So these challenges got progressively more difficult. So if there was any time that some time went by and there wasn't a solution yet, Artifact would periodically send out an additional clue, and they had to do so for this one. So they sent out the below 2 additional clues. The first stating, you've used many tools, but the true path can only be found in your heart. And then the next saying, the true-hearted knows when to put the needed effort. You've used many tools, true, but you may need to use more before your task is done. So the first thing we might notice here is that they use the word many tools twice. And then they sent out another clue, which kind of solidified that thinking. It said, may a new you tell others one last secret, one real goal. So this seems like a very choppy, kind of oddly put together sentence, but if you look at the first letter of each word, MANYTOOLSORG, it actually spells out manytools.org. And even if you didn't figure that out, if you just Googled manytools, the first website that pops up is manytools.org. So that leads us to this site, which has a lot going on. But where we ended up needing to go was to this hacker dropdown. And there is a button called steganography. So it's not to be confused with the dinosaur, but steganography is the practice of hiding data or information in plain sight. And it's been a theme through most of these challenges. One example being saving one of the older monolith pictures, and when you opened it in a notepad, there was a URL hidden in the data of that picture. That's an example of steganography. So after we get to this page, there's a couple options to upload pictures or files onto here. So if you were actually to upload the picture of the monolith in the clue for challenge number 4 and decode this image, you would get this message right here, which is very straightforward in that it's a URL to a tweet. And again, so this was the tweet we had to find. If you liked it, this actually was released on February 14th, 2022, Valentine's Day. So likes were actually worth double for this challenge. So you only needed 500 to hit the goal. And the challenge was completed. So that's challenge number 4 completed. And again, another side of the monolith with additional blue cracks appearing. So on to challenge number 5. So again, another find me, love me clue for challenge number 5. This time another picture of the monolith, but now we have a link to a picture on the Artifact site. So if we were to click on that, it is actually a higher resolution picture of the monolith. It's very high resolution, and you can zoom in pretty in depth here. And if you look closely, there are some very odd markings that you can see. Kind of looks like chicken scratch, but it definitely looks like it was layered on top of this picture. It doesn't kind of fill in with the textures of the original picture. So you can kind of see these markings that look very odd. And if you took it a step further and kind of darkened this picture, you can actually see that the lines are very distinct here, and they were put there on purpose. And after that, we had some additional clues. So Artifacts tweeted, I'll hand it to you. In matters of the heart, it's good to put all your things in order. They also tweeted this picture of these flowers, where it's a row of flowers. They're all equidistant, and they're all kind of copy and paste. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. But another way to count them would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you put those two things together, you put those numbers in order, and these are the lines that we saw initially on the monolith. And if they're equidistant from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you kind of see that there's a kind of a waterfall drop down of these numbers. So 0 has a line pointed downwards, and you drop a 0 down. 1 has two lines, so you drop 1 down to where each of those lines go. Same thing for 2, you carry it downwards where there's lines. You do that for all the numbers, and you actually come up with a long string of numbers. And then you can do that once more with the 1 dropping down all the way down here, 0 dropping all the way down here, 9 dropping in these 3 spots, and continued. So now you have two large numbers that you've made using the order and also these kind of downward waterfall flow of lines carrying the numbers. And there's also this peculiar X over here, and as you might guess, it stands for a multiplication sign. So if you multiply this big string of numbers times this smaller string, you actually get a 19-digit string of numbers, and you put that at the end of a Twitter URL, and you get to an old Artifact Studios tweet. And again, liking this 1,000 times completes challenge number 5. And again, another side of the monolith, additional cracks forming. So now that's 5 sides, 5 challenges. So challenge number 6 with the 5th side. So another find me and love me clue dropped on this one. This one, another picture of the monolith. But now we have a clue that says hot plus drop minus cool minus question mark, and then a string of numbers. So again, this one, there was additional clues from Artifact needed to kind of move forward. And what they initially sent was, as a follow-up clue, was egg, checkmark, blood, checkmark, shades, checkmark, and WH, checkmark. That still wasn't enough, so they sent a couple additional clues. Love is a string of fond memories, and shared past victories make love sweeter. So putting all these together, a string of fond memories, shared past victories, this is telling us that we need to look back at the solutions to old challenges. And if you think back, because we kind of looked at them pretty recently, there's egg, blood, shades, and WH. They all related to old solutions. So let's take a look at those. So this was the solution to challenge number 3, and the solution tweet actually had an egg in it. So what that is that first clue, hot or the egg, we can use the 19 digits of this tweet in the URL as that kind of clue. The second one was blood or drop, and there's a blood drop here, and this was the solution tweet to challenge number 2. So again, that part of the formula can be used as the 19 digits at the end of this tweet. And then most recently in challenge number 5, this was the solution tweet, and cool shades right here are kind of the clue that was being given there. So the 19-digit URL here can be used to replace the cooler shades. And then lastly, there was WH with the 2 question marks. So in challenge number 3, to solve it, we actually used the width and the height of the picture of the monolith to fill in the X and the Y. So the W and the H actually relate to, the width and the height here. So if you replace the first question mark with 1384 and the second question mark with 1158, you'll complete that string of numbers. So if you put all those together, the 19 digits for the hot egg, the blood drop, minus the cool shades, and then minus the width and height, and this string of numbers, you'll get a 19-digit number, as you guessed it, which will lead you to an old Artifact tweet. And I guess we didn't have to like this 1,000 times either. Maybe it was still Valentine's week, so they let us slide. And then we had quest 1, love, completed. So that tells us that quest 1 is completed. There were 6 challenges in quest 1, and this is the last side of the monolith revealed with some additional cracks. And then in the end, we had this: the monolith has evolved, quest 2 starting tomorrow. And we have a full video of all the cracks forming on all the sides of the monolith. And that wraps up all 6 challenges of quest number 1. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, or if you have any theories. Please like, subscribe, and share with anyone in or even interested in the Artifact and CloneX community. And thank you, and I hope I'll see you again to go over quest number 2.